So this is the basics of how to use this machine. So make sure the machine is turned on, and then you gotta get yourself set up for sewing. So you wanna make sure you have 2 threads on the top here. One is coming from, spread these out. One is coming from the bottom, that's the bobbin thread. One is coming from the top, the needle thread. You should be able to pull on both threads and not have any resistance. If one doesn't move at all, it's snagged up. You're gonna have to solve that problem. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is lift the presser foot by pressing on the knee lever there. Put your material underneath, line it up where you want to do some sewing, and then basically get at it. It's handy sometimes if these threads are a little bit short to just hold on to them. They will try to pull back a little bit when you start sewing it the first time until the first loop happens. And then after that, you can just forget about them. And to get started, you can either drive the needle into the fabric.
Do that again.
Yeah. You could drive the needle into the fabric. So we're all set up here. We want to get started. If you start with the needle up top, it's a more advanced technique. If you want to make it really easy on yourself, drive the needle into the fabric. Now the fabric can't go anywhere. Even if you were to lift the presser foot, it's not going anywhere. The needle is all the way through the fabric. And then start sewing by pressing down on the pedal foot. Nice and gentle. The farther you press the foot forward, the faster it's going to go. But it is hard to find that sweet spot. Ooh, we're turned to 0 speed. There we go. Okay, so nice and easy. When you press the foot, the machine grabs. Now that's just a single stitch in both directions. It's not locked off in any sort of way. So when we do finish or start a stitch, and we're at the end of either end, we want it to lock off. And the way that you lock a stitch with this is you go back and forth at least 3 times. So forward, backwards, forwards. That usually locks the stitch very well, so it's never going to come undone. For areas where I want a little bit of extra strength, where I think the stitch is actually going to be actively pulled apart a little bit, at least 5. So forwards, backwards, and then forwards. So just like this. So a little bit forwards, a little bit backwards, a little bit forwards, a little bit backwards, a little bit forwards, and then you can continue on.
Can you do that again? I missed you pushing the hand lever on the reverse.
Yeah, no problem. So I'm just going to pull this one out. So now we've hit the end of our stitch. We want to complete this stitch. Notice the needle is down through our fabric. So even if I wanted to, I can't get it out of there. I'll just by hand run the machine all the way up. And you notice the needle is up. We need this puller arm to be all the way up before we can get this out. If we're to, the bobbin is still locked in. So we're going to keep rotating till this is up. You can hear a little click even if you're listening. There you go. And now it pulls free. And we can cut it off. Always, 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 when you're taking material out, pull yourself a good distance and then cut. If you do it really close, what happens is you'll lose your bobbin thread or your needle thread. You'll have to rethread the machine. Big old waste of time. So again, to start a stitch, we're going to lift the presser foot. We're going to put underneath. We're going to drive the needle into the material where we want to start. We're going to go forward just a little bit. And we're going to press the backup bar. We're going to go backwards for that whole section that we just started. We're going to go forward over it again. And then we're going to continue on to do our stitch. When we get to the end and we're done, backwards, forwards, and then we're going to, by hand, lift the needle up and out of the material, presser bar all the way to the top, lift, and cut. Does that work?